relates to last week's topic, which was starting ugly, and the Genius Goals question, which stated that pour love into what you already have in comparison to focusing on what you don't have, which is really focusing on the external. Were you able to apply it this week?
I think I apply it all the time.
Okay. So when you have thoughts of, the thoughts is trying to seep in where you're trying to do, your mind and your ego just trying to get you to focus on what you don't have in those instances. What do you tend to do?
I think right now my
Mm-hmm.
my thing is money.
Mm-hmm.
And like other things, I think I not have it under wraps, or I have it under better control. But
Mm-hmm.
now is money, and you're trying to see, or I'm trying to learn how to allow money to be my friend.
Right.
So I really being very mindful and trying my best to focus and be present. I think the important thing is being present,
Mm-hmm.
because the fear of money and or not having, or the lack of money, it's almost like, it's not like almost, but it's like you're living in the future. So when you be present and you realize and you focus on the now, like, okay, I have everything I need now,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I go back and I remember that I've never gone without.
Yes.
So that's where I keep like that balance. I
Mm-hmm.
try to work like in the middle of that, like the now and the remembering that I've I've always been able to come through that. So it's really for me trying to kind of get to that place of the knowing and accepting, and like you're saying, it's like you want to be the millionaire, you want the money, the $1 million, but you're not aligned to receive it. You're not mentally, you're not in the position where like I know I could be a millionaire. So it's kind of working up right now. You want the millionaire by getting $50 kind of thing. So it's working up to the knowing. I think that's my challenge now, and being able to be self-sustainable when you, in the sense that you're not looking for that external person to help you feel financially secure.
Yeah.
So that's my challenge
Okay.
in terms of the conversation last week.
And in terms of overcoming, when you tend to hit a little obstacle,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
do you practice like in the morning when you get up, you're asking yourself, what is required for you today?
Honestly, no, because I just get up at the last minute ready to get out and dance. But one of the things I started doing is when I get in my car,
Mm-hmm.
before I start my car, I stop, calm myself, take my deep breaths,
Mm-hmm.
and then like say affirmations and saying that it's going to be a good day. So I don't get out of my bed asking the question, but I do before I start my car. When I sit in my car, kind of come back to being present.
Okay, understood. Kim, I'm seeing that you have your hand raised.
Yes, I wanted to say to Lisa, well, two things now. Lisa, that's absolutely okay because sometimes with having a little one, I wake up in a rush. I have no time to say, self, what am I going to do today? What do I have to do today? But during the course of the day, just like you, when I can't get it done, I do get it done. and it's something to stay consistently throughout the day. And concerning the millionaire, you're not a millionaire yet, and you don't have to worry about how it's going to happen, the details of it, and when exactly, but it will happen. And remember, you know who your provider is. So don't say anybody external. You know who your provider is. I know you know what I'm talking about. So
But that's the thing. That's where she asks. You know, it's like we want the $1 million, but we're not aligning ourselves to receiving it. So it's the thinking, and that's why I'm working on thinking lack. You know what I mean? So that's why I say, you know, you want the $1 million to happen overnight, but we're not getting ourselves aligned and putting ourselves in place to bring it into fruition. So that's why I'm working on getting to
yeah,
that
you'll
point
get
of
there.
knowing.
You'll get there.
Thank you.
You certainly will. And Anastasia, hi, I'm sorry, Catherine, I'm seeing that you have your hand raised.
Hello, good evening. I'm on the road.
Good evening.
Um, the $1 million has to be attached to something. It's not about wanting $1 million for nothing. You want $1 million for something, and it is the thing that will come to you, not the $1 million. Because when we're thinking about the $1 million or the $1 billion, we're thinking of those dollar notes, and that is attached to nothing really. So if we know for a fact that this is what the $1 million is for, then you focus on the thing and you're holding on to that focus so that what it is will find its way to you. But $1 million, just for saying you have $1 million, that is not attached to anything. So it will always be evasive because it's really just an idea and nothing is not for anything. So one of the things, when you want money, you want the thing, not the money. So if the money is the only thing that you want, it might take you a lot longer to get there. Yeah.
Um, all right. Anastasia, you there? I know you just came in a little late.
Yes, I am.
We were discussing as it relates to last week's topic in terms of pouring into what you already have as opposed to focusing on what you don't have. So were you able to practice that this week?
I do not think so.
Okay.
I was not mindful about it, so I guess it was just life as usual for me this week.
Well, that is how it is sometimes. I completely understand. That is certainly how it is sometimes. I understand. And Lisa, number two, are you there?
Which Lisa number two?
There are two Lisas on. All right. So I don't know if she's probably not close to her phone, but there is another Lisa on. All right. So, question for tonight as it relates to tonight's topic. How is your current mindset? Where is it? How is it going? What state is it in?
I think it's in my for me it's in acceptance, learning how to accept things for what they are and not think much into it. Like at um incident, not a major incident, like my boss said, "Oh, I wanted to see you about something that happened Friday."
Mm-hmm.
You know, and first thing you're like, "Oh my God, what did I do?" Blah 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 blah. You know, and I went in and I had the conversation with her, and in my head, you know, you come out thinking, well, you know, how is she looking at me based on the things that she's so it's all the things that you thinking in your head, and that's something really like your perception.
Mm-hmm.
And then the truth is people could be seeing you in so many different aspects, like positive aspects, but you kind of putting the negative thoughts into your head. So it's just accepting the situation for what it is. They said what it is, and that's all it is. And don't go digging deeper into or trying to interpret anything other than what was said.
Yeah. And attaching things that not even there into the equation. All right. So that's one. Anybody else? What is your current mindset?
Mine is very upbeat. I am I am in a I can do this phase. We can get this done phase. And because of that, I am seeing the little setback sometimes. But somewhere deep inside of me is we're gonna get this done. We can get this done. And so a lot of it now is where the ideas are flowing, the thoughts are coming, because it's the question of we could get this done. This is doable. So that is where I am right now. We can get this done.
Okay.
Like
And
racing home from the supermarket, get it
okay.
done.
And Kim, I'm seeing that you have your hand raised.
Yes, my mindset is in a good space right now because
Mm-hmm.
I practicing accepting things for what they are. So it's actually um left to be more free. So it's removing a lot of the burdens that I usually will put on my mind or have on my mind. So yeah, my mindset is in a good space right now.
Okay. Good to know. Marissa, are you there?
Yes, I am. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening. And what is the current state of your mindset?
I guess my mind is racing right now,
Hello?
so it's not settled and I'm not relaxed. And
Okay, 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 okay. All right. So we have a lot of different, we have minds that are in the acceptance phase. We have minds that are racing. And we all experience it still, even for the ones who are in the acceptance phase. Sometimes your mind still tends to race a lot. But with practice, they would recognize that you are able to slow it down. Because even for the persons who are in the acceptance phase, trust me, it still happens. And again, it is something that comes with practice. So even like with riding a bike, you ride it the first time, sometimes you have to practice it a lot before you would be able to really see the results that you would like to see. So just continue on the pathway because remember, a lot of times what we tend to do is, I'm not seeing any results, I throwing this away, I'm not doing this again. To ask me to do this again, don't invite me to it. That is what we tend to do. We tend to throw it away. Or even, for example, with planting, I have a lash. This is my third attempt. The first two, I've had persons told me, Adana, if you could kill a lash, you're badly off. Which is the truth because they said nothing was really kill a lash. But in the first instance, I watered it entirely too much. And then in the second instance, I had it against a wall that when the sun was setting in the evening, the wall used to get really hot. So now I moved the location and everything is fine. And there is a lot of new sprouts coming up. And again, if I had decided after the first attempt, well, everybody told me, Dan, if you kill a lash badly off, then I would not have planted that thing ever again in my life. Because I was told that the lash plant is one of the hardest plants to kill. So you just sometimes you just have to make some minor adjustments. But again, all in all, you really have to continue trying. Because if you don't, then again, you will remain stuck, which is one of the workshops that we had a few weeks ago. So, when you think about your mind and you think about your thinking and in terms of the goals that you have to achieve, why do you think that you are not achieving the goals that you need to achieve. Would you say it's your mindset, or would you say that it is something else?
I would say it's a mindset because you have a lot of times you hold on to so much, just attached to so much from your past, and you hold on to past experiences, and fear and ego prevents you from wanting to step out of what you think is your comfort zone or that safe space.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely a mindset because, once again, we're realizing how powerful the mind is, and how powerful thoughts are. Your mind could make you believe anything is true, in a positive way or in a way that could hinder your growth.
Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Anyone else? When you have your goals and you're not achieving them, what do you think is the reason why you're really not achieving the goal? What is it? For us to always have the same resolutions year after year, why do you think
For
that
me,
is?
for me, it's definitely mindset because I am one who, well, I'm getting over it, working on it, but I was one who think, well, okay, do this, I must get through it at one time. If I don't get through, well, I am throwing out the baby, the bath water, throwing out the whole tank. But yeah, it's mindset.
Okay. Anyone else?
I think in the past, when I didn't get through, I would blame myself because as I've said it several times, I grew up with the importance of my mind and the firm belief that my mind can solve anything. I just have to make a plan. And when that plan didn't work, I'd make a second plan. And sometimes after 4 or 5 plans, and you look at, and I would write it down because it would say, write down your plans. And when I looked at the plans, you would see that the same thing is being rewritten all the time. It's just a different version. Did you put A or did you put Z? And it's the same plan. And because I gave so much importance to my intelligence and my mind and my mind and my mind, you would find that then I would go to the place which said, clearly there's something wrong with me.
Mm,
If I had not done X or Y, I must be doing something wrong. And that's why I'm not getting through. And it was very revealing to me when I learned that the reason you're not getting through is because you're trying to use something for the purpose that it was not intended. And you need to give the mind a little grace, and you need to give you more grace.
mm-hmm.
And you need to find out just where what you are trying to get is coming from. And that is the connection of the soul. That is the business of the soul. The one thing that has the duty to allow things to pass from the unseen to the seen. So, in getting that kind of information, I then took away the thing that there was something wrong with me, that there was something that I was doing wrong. And to realize that instead of that, why don't you just focus on the techniques? Why don't you focus on the tools? Why don't you focus on the complete you so that things can flow normally and things can flow to you? And so I started to give less importance to the mind. It's still important because if your mind is not working for you, you won't be able to do anything really. But to realize that there is something greater There is more than the mind. And so when things do not work out for me now, I go to, are you using all of you? Do you have yourself lined up the way you're supposed to line up? And particularly for this week where things like time was important for me. And I would simply say, you know what? Time belongs to you. Time belongs to you. And then I would send my request, not as a helpless beggar, but to say, this is what I want to see. So if I needed to be somewhere, like this morning, I needed to be somewhere, and there was just 30 minutes. And normally you would think about the traffic and things like that. I said, it's going to happen. And I'm going to hear the first word that is uttered in the meeting. And there it was. There it was. And so when you get these little examples working, you get more strength and more confidence to know that it can work for the bigger things if you just approach it in the same way. It can work for the bigger things. It is your mind that tells you, no, it won't work. You have to do something more. You have to work harder. You have to do something. There's something wrong with your plan. There's something, something, something. So now the planning for me is really working on how to stay in the moment, how not to worry, because the worry always wants to pop up. For people who rely plenty on their brain, worry is their favorite spot. So now is a question of just know, stay in the intention, stay with what you want, stay with what you want, and look for the little signs that say, okay, go here, go there. And I do practice the what is for me today. What is for me to do? And I used to want the answer right away. And if I didn't, ta-da, hear something then. But also in that space is to know it will come. What is for you will come. But when it comes, I have been working on myself to say, whatever comes, you have to accept that that is for you today. And then work from there and make the steps that you have to make. If you go back into the old ways of something is wrong with you and that is why this happened, then you're just going back into habits that you walked away from. So that is where I find the space now to move forward in what I want to see happen and not give the supremacy to my mind. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And I heard you said that in some instances you think that something is wrong with you. And I think for everyone at certain times you would think that because things are not happening the way that you think they should be happening, that something is wrong with you. But we also have to recognize that we are not defective, because we tend to think that as soon as things start to go left, and that is really not the case. And that is why in the discussion last week, which is the power of starting ugly, meaning that the power of starting imperfect, because a lot of times we want to wait until things perfect, until the road smooth, until this and until that. And if you wait for perfection, you would recognize that perfection would never come if you wait on perfection. Because what is really the perfect time? Because there are so many instances of things working out exactly as they should with the least amount of resources. So, what is important is really starting wherever you are right now. You do not have to wait until this happens or until that happens. And that is something that I learned in terms of sometimes you want to go somewhere and you want to experience something. And well, for me, I have 15,000 cousins. So They would always say, well, we're waiting on this one. So every time I try to gather everybody, one person can make it for some reason. And because of that, you're not going anywhere. The whole group not going anywhere. So what we started to do is that we started to say, well, A cannot go this time, the rest of the alphabet going. And then next time, B cannot go this time, the rest of the alphabet going. And that is it. You have to start wherever you are. If you wait on the perfect time, person, circumstance, experience, location, you will not go anywhere. You will not go anywhere anytime soon. You would be stuck waiting, waiting, waiting. And when you wait for B to line up, then the opportunities with C fall apart. You're waiting now on C, then the opportunities with F fall apart. You're waiting now on F, then A and B disappear. And it's a lot of different moving parts. And that is why you really need to start wherever you are with whatever you have, because whatever you have is what is required for you. It is not a cookie cutter scenario and everybody is a circle, everybody is a square, everybody is a triangle. That is not the case. You are equipped with what you are required. Whatever is required for you, that is what you have. And that is why last week's topic leads to this week's topic, because it demonstrates that starting where you are is really what is important. And then after you start where you are, you have to tune your mind, because a lot of times your mind not really tuned. Your mind kind of out of tune. And your mind probably tuned to what external is telling you. So as I gave you an example with the plant, my mind was tuned to Adana. You're a plant killer, you cannot grow anything. If you cannot grow a lash, you cannot grow anything. And again, what I had to do is examine the experience. What is happening? Why is this not working? In the first instance, I wish I had like, let me tell you what I used to do. I had a water bottle of 1.5 this size, and I would throw this in the plant pot every week. So that was scenario one, which killed the first plant. Then, because I love the plant so much, you're excited to see this thing grow. Then in the second scenario, the plant was against a wall, and in the evening, that is where the sun does hit. So the sun hits in that wall for about 6 hours. So the leaves start to fall one by one, and I'm like, what is going on? So then when I went to get the third plant, now the person watching man was like, you kill a lash? I was like, listen, like, shh, shh, don't pay attention to that. And then what I did was I took the plant pot outside, and as rain was falling, because rainwater have a lot of nutrients, so I left it outside for about a month in the rain. Then I brought it back inside, got a new plant, and we are good to go. There is a lot of budding sprouts coming up and stuff. So you really have to, sometimes when things not working, is really to not throw everything away, because again, that is the purpose of the challenge. A lot of times when we see challenges, we resist it. We try to run, we throw it away altogether. I don't want to deal with this. I don't have time to deal with this. I would rather deal with something else. When you probably was supposed to overcome the challenge, examine what is happening, examine why it is happening. And that is what really life is about, is from challenge to our next challenge. And the different challenges have different levels of intensities. And based on the level of intensity, for the ones who went on the hike, you would understand what that is, because the intensity on the hike was intense. But again, we overcame the challenge and we all came out of, but that was miraculous, yes. We all came out unscathed. So much so that persons who struggle along the path wants to know when is the next one. And we are definitely putting things in place to do so. But again, Even if something doesn't work out one time, it doesn't mean that this is what it is moving forward. It means that your mind is tuned to your past experiences. When your mind really supposed to be tuned to the present moment. Because when your mind tunes to your past experiences, all the things that you keep replaying are now obsolete. It cannot help you moving forward. It cannot help you in your current state. But yet, you're tuned to something that has passed. Or, for example, recently I had to set up because my grandmother, you had and you know, the long time big back TVs. And then Flo did an update. And when they're trying to hook it up to that TV, of course, it cannot function anymore. And it is the same thing. It will not be able to help you moving forward. You really have to focus on where you are presently. And a lot of times with new situations, new circumstances, new opportunities, we tend to look back to try to figure out how to deal with this current situation. And in looking back, what you do is you frustrate yourself because life is trying to get you to focus where you are and stop looking back at what has worked in the past. Or sometimes you look outside of you, well, this worked for this one and it worked for that one, but it's not working for me, and I really can't understand why. Because you have to spend time with you to figure out, how do I manage this in this current position? And that is where the tune up is important. And that is why you really have to recommit to whatever your goal is. And that is why we spoke last week about pouring love into what you already have instead of focusing on what you do not have. Because probably what you do not have is not required for you at this moment. But because you're looking outside of yourself and you see, well, Catherine has this and it working for her. Or Nalini has this and it working for her. Lisa has this and it working for her. Kim has this and it working for her. But what is working for you? What do you have? But if you never spend time to sit and discover it, then how would you know what would work for you? Because sometimes the little thing that you're overlooking is what will work for you, and it says what will take you so very far, but you're overlooking it as insignificant when that is really what is for you. Katrina, I know that your hand raised a little while now.
Um, what I was going to say is also sometimes we believe that we want to start, we want to go forward, but we also want to, because we believe something is wrong with us, we want to fix the things first. We want to fix the things. It's like, how we use the example, I think it was last week or week before, you want to hire a maid, but you want to clean the house first.
Mm-hmm.
And what will the maid be doing when the maid comes and sees this clean house? Everything is done already. And also, when you start to go along that path, your mind is very happy to go there with you. And you start to find more things that are wrong with you, more things that you need to, and you remember this and you remember that, and oh
And
gosh,
let
but
me
I
ask you
cannot
a
go
question.
forward now.
Just like you
Yes.
say, you find things wrong with you. You find things wrong with you, and that is usually based on what?
That is based on your storage bin, that is based on your past, that is based on everything that you should just leave alone
And it's also
and
based on
just
comparison
focus.
to others. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So one of the things I had to give up was the trying to identify all the things in the past that I may or may not have done well, thinking that I had to go and look for them and fix them first and identify. And all that does is like an ant's nest. You find one trail. I like to look at ants because they are the ninjas of the grass, 1,000 exits. And the minute you look at something, you will find something else off of that branch. You will find something else off of that branch. That will branch off somewhere else. And so before long, you are not even trying to go forward because you are too busy stuck in that ant's hole trying to work your way back through this little maze of things that you think you have to sort out or figure out before you could get moving to where you have to go. And this is one of the things I had to understand and come to terms with. And if my mind starts to slip back in that area, then I have to talk myself forward, meaning just put a stop to it. I had to understand that start where you are. It doesn't matter what went in the past, just start. And the more you start and the more you focus, is you're going to see lights along the way, you're going to see things opening up. But if you try to tell yourself you could go in the past to fix things to go forward, then half of the things or all of the things in the past are literally in the past.
Yeah.
And so starting where you are to me opens up such beautiful opportunities. Because then you can literally say, listen, I starting over, I starting here, and I'm going to create. This is what is coming now, and I'm going to create, and you'll get lost in the creating of the new thing because the new ideas are coming, and without having any reference to the past. So, should not try to fix ourselves because, as you said, Adana, there's nothing wrong with you.
There is nothing
Just
wrong.
your mind tells you that there's something wrong with you and you need to fix before you could go forward.
Hmm. And also, for the persons who have experienced loss, a lot of times when you're trying to move forward, remember you're moving forward with this major part of you that is missing. And it is even more difficult for you to move forward because you're tied and you're attached to what has gone, especially if it is a person. And in instances like that, it is important to first accept where you are. Because if you don't accept where you are, you'll confuse yourself and you will frustrate yourself because you would think it should be either one way, which is back to what has gone, or it should be the other extreme where I am over this. And sometimes you're not in either space. So wherever you are in that space, sometimes you just have to stop and take a deep breath. And that is for anything that you're currently experiencing that might be overwhelming because nothing really good comes from haste. Nothing really good comes from haste. So even where you are, whenever you're feeling overwhelmed, whatever it is, stop. And it also means literally stop your body, stop moving, have a seat, sit down. Or it might be walk outside and stop when you are experiencing whatever it is that you are experiencing. You could literally just stop yourself because in stopping, you really have to get yourself out of the loop because you are in a loop currently. So you really have to get yourself out of the loop because in that space, remember, your mindset will remain the same. You will remain stuck. You would stay in that space, and sometimes you stay in that space for years. And it is a difficult space to get out of, especially when loss is involved. It is a difficult space to get out of, but sometimes you just have to stop. And in that moment, the thoughts would start to come and make the first step towards whatever it is. It could be the smallest step, and do not try to make yourself feel guilty because you think that you should be further along. That is not the case. You do not need to be further along in this moment. Even if what you do tomorrow is 5% out of 100%, that is still progress. A lot of times, we always think when we make up our mind to do something, it should be at 100% all the time. That does not happen. It does not happen. And then we frustrate ourselves because we are not functioning at 100%. And then again, when we don't function at 100%, you throw the whole thing away. It's not about throwing the whole thing away. If tomorrow your 100% is 5%, then so it is. The day after that, your 100% might be 20%, then so it is. What is important really is the consistency. That is really where the importance lies, because once you become so consistent and you develop a routine, now you are in the swing of things. Because recently, I think it's a month or over a month and a half ago, we started exercising at the balance center, and at first it was a struggle. Even the simple things, the warm up was a struggle. And now it is a bit easier to get done. But again, you have to start where you are. You can't wait to say, well, I'm waiting until I change my diet to start. No, start and then you would make the adjustments along the way. Or waiting until I get shoes to start. And that days I forget my shoes home, I used to exercise in my socks to this day. Because last week I forgot my shoes home too. I exercise with my socks. So just start where you are. And remember, it is important that your mindset is tuned to the current moment. If your mindset is tuned to what you do not have, you would stay there. Your mindset has to be tuned to the current moment. What is currently happening? That is why when this session just started, I asked everyone, how is your mindset today? Where is it? Is it in the present moment? Is it in the past? Is it worrying about the future? Where is it right now? Because sometimes you really have to reset your mindset. And what are some of the ways that you think that you can reset your mindset? For the persons who are the leaderboard on the Genius Goals Challenge, how do you reset your mindset?
I think you always have to come back to to being present. I think that's for me how you reset. You stop, and you ask this, like the question you brought up before. Where am I right now? And I mean literally, just ask yourself that. And where you are, that's where you function from. If you're cooking, if you whatever you're doing, because so many times we do other things, but our mind is like all over the place. And when you stop and you just be present, that helps you to reset.
And what does being present, what do you understand by that statement?
I think for me, it's like when your mind racing, like if I'm driving, sometimes you're driving, like I come down my street all the time. And one day I was driving, I was like, the street looks so different. I can't remember seeing this house, this, that, because you're not present and actually seeing, and I mean really seeing, not just walking past and your mind is up, but actually really seeing what is around you, what's going on, where you are, you know, feeling the breeze on your face or the sun, or just being present in the moment and allowing all your senses to be part of the experience.
Okay. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Anastasia, are you there?
Yes, I am.
How do you reset your mindset sometimes when you know things starting to get a little bit too overwhelming?
Mhm. Yes. To reset, I have to get in a place of stillness. Sometimes I have to journal and get all the stuff out of my mind, just empty it out of my mind and put it on the paper. I find journaling really helps me. When I get it out of my mind and put it on paper, it's like, okay, everything is just get still and nice. And from there, I could start again.
Okay.
That's for me.
All right.
if I'm attempting something and I'm not getting through with it and it really frustrating, for me, I stop and actually just laugh at myself and realize, bro, you're really not good at this, you know. You're not good at this at all. But for me, it allows me to register where I am and accept where I am, keeping in mind where I want to be. So I know that there's a progress to it now. Instead of trying to say that where I am and where I want to be needs to be happening right now.
Hmm.
So I tend to just laugh at myself, hey, you're not good at this at all, right? You're doing terrible right now. And I just accept that this is where I am right now. And just allow the progress to be the process and just let it happen, you know?
Yes, 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 yes. Because that is also a major part. Acceptance is very, very, very important because if you're not in acceptance, you're living somewhere in reality that is not real. You're somewhere else. Because even last week or week before, we had a session during the week about perfection and how we always striving for this thing called perfection. And when you really look at it, what you're striving for is not even real. It might be real in your mind, but it really not even real. And again, you sit now stuck because what you're striving for not real, and that is where your focus is placed instead of really focusing on what you want to achieve and then how to get there. So we have focusing on the present moment, we have journaling, we have stopping and accepting and even laughing in the moment at yourself. So that is also
Mm,
some of the tools.
I would like to share.
Mm-hmm.
What helps me is not focusing on the present moment, yes, but focusing on the things that you would like to see and the outcome that you want because I have something to do. And yes, I'm nervous, but I know if I sit and I bask in the nervousness, it will just create a lot of distortions in my mind that are not really true. So I am spending the time to focus on the result that I want to see, the outcome that I want to see, and not giving so much to the negative. And that helps to build confidence and helps to reset my mind and calm me.
Okay. All right. So focus on what you would like to see. Anyone else? So you have a lot of tools that you could utilize to reset your thinking and fuel your energy because what does happen is that when you're in a negative thinking pattern, you really have to find ways to stop it. Because once you stay there, your energy, everything will drain from you. And then you would find yourself always feeling tired, always feeling overwhelmed. I reach home and I just sleeping and I don't know why. And this is part of the reason why. Because you really have to stop yourself in the moment. And after you stop yourself in the moment, as just discussed, you could just bask in the present moment. Because as Lisa rightfully says, sometimes you go somewhere, you've been there 10 times, and then you say, but this was always here. Because sometimes you go, but you're just rushing to the next thing. You never really stop and slow down because slowing down is so important. And again, it is not something that we focus on. And as Anastasia said, journaling is something that helps her because you just get everything out of your mind. Sometimes you write down, even if you don't want anybody to read it. I know there are some persons who they could burn it after, they could throw it in the sea after, or whatever it is that you would like to do with it. Because what I would usually do is I would journal, especially on December 31st, just to do a year summary and then reading back on it the next year. Sometimes you say, wow, I was in that space. And then you recognize, because a lot of times day to day, you're not even recognizing how much growth you are really doing until sometimes when you journal, of course, and you look back to recognize, wow, okay, I am no longer in this space. And then, as Philman was saying, what you really need to do is Accept and sometimes laugh at yourself in the moment. Because again, sometimes we're striving for perfection and you're striving for this and you're striving for that when you are where you are supposed to be at the end of the day. Whatever you are faced with is what is required for your growth, your evolution right now. So even if you try to deter it, it will come back again, it will present itself. And sometimes when you have the same challenge coming back over and over and over again, it's because you're running from it. So sometimes you really need to stop, accept, and face it, even though, again, sometimes you want to face it in perfection and you're thinking that you're not equipped to face this thing. But once you stop, assess what is happening, you would recognize, that is where the solution is, because a lot of times the solution hiding in plain sight. The solution's always there hiding in plain sight. But if you do not recognize it, if you do not spend time with yourself, you will not recognize it and you would continue on the racetrack because we get up and we always race into the next thing. And then, of course, as Nicola said, to focusing on what you would like to see. Because a lot of times with distractions, we lose focus. And that is how we are unable to really achieve the goals that we would like to achieve because the slightest things does distract us.
I just want to add to with that. I feel as though it's energy, and I feel as though you're kind of wasting energy just worrying. So just focus your energy on what you want to
What you
see instead of spending the same time that you're spending to worry. Spend that same time focusing on what you want to see.
want. Because you turn on social media, you see what's going on with Donald Trump, you see what's going on with China, you see what's going on with Maduro, and all these things mixed into one, and all the focus that you has had placed on your goals now it gone in 5 different directions. And sometimes you keep that focus there month after month after month, and it's only on December 31st. When you sit down to write your new resolutions, you recognize how much resolutions you did not achieve. Because you forget. Because the life throws a spoke in your wheel and you pay so much attention on the spoke and you lose focus on the wheel. So now we have to start again from ugly. And again, just start. The distractions, they always, 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 always come. The distractions always come. And it is also your opportunity for you to recognize how much of your life consumed by other things and other people. And you're really not focused within at all. It's as though you're always looking at your neighbor plants and find it looking nice, but why your plants always, you're not even watering your plants, you're not nourishing your plants, you're not taking the time to figure out why are you dying, what is happening with you, what do you need, and even ask yourself that question, because a lot of times you run to help A, B, C, D, all the letters of the alphabet, you would run to help them. But even when it comes to sit to help yourself, you can't even sit still to figure out what is required for you in this moment right now. When was the last time you sit and you figure out what is required for you in this moment? When was the last time you did that? And even if you don't hear an answer right now, the answer is to be still. Because within the stillness, that is where everything would flow. Sometimes you're not getting an answer because you need to be still first, because life knows if they give you any answer in the current state that you are, it's like you're moving with a car that rattling. You're not trying to figure out why the car rattling, You know there is a part that is damaged or it has to be fixed or it has to be replaced. So until you identify and you sit with yourself and you recognize what that is, the next step may not be revealed to you, and that is why you really need to sit and just be still with yourself. And in doing so, you would tune your mind to where you need to be. And also, when you do that, remember, you're giving your soul the opportunity to connect with all that there is, to figure out, okay, what is required for me, not from external, but from within yourself. Catherine, I'm seeing that you have your hand raised.
Yes. I wanted to just quickly talk about the dangers of perfection and holding on to that particular mindset. Because when I started my business about 18 years now, and things were, we were hitting targets, everything. So, of course, remember, I was also convinced it was my mind. And when things started to, because it moved so quickly, then I gained a name very quickly. And so I got it into my head that, of course, I didn't get it into my head then and there. I always had the sickness of the perfection gene. So whenever a program was advertised or something which could have developed more skills for me, I would say to myself, if I went to that, people there who know me, people probably didn't know me at all, but people who know me would think that how come she has come to this and she should know this. So clearly there is something that she has been hiding. So I had all of these issues that in my head and going around and must be perfect. And opportunities were passing by. And then, well, the worst that could have happened, business started to go down because most of my business was referral, government money. So if government is not spending money, then no money. So it got worse now because I would think that, well, now people will know the truth. People will know that I'm not as financially buoyant as I used to be. And now for sure, I can't go to one of these courses, a business course, or this or that, new ideas, new things that are passing by. And my twin sister, she was going to all because she didn't have any time for that. And eventually, one particular course was advertised. My goodness, it was free.
Mm-hmm.
4, 5, I think it was the 5 week challenge or something like that, or the 5 day challenge, which was free. And they were looking at things like all the AI that's coming in and funnels and all these things. And I said, you know what? Sign up. Sign up. If there's someone there who wants to laugh at you, let them. But you cannot stay in this mode of thinking that people will think, you see, you're living in your mind and your ego, and you're getting nothing because you're not even focused on what you need to, and you're not even seeing the signs that, okay, these things are coming your way, these opportunities are coming your way, because this is the next step. You want to sit in one step. Perfect. So eventually I made the step. And everyone was supportive. Everyone was going through their own issues in their business. But you had a community of business people who were there to lend support and share. And then I went to another program with the same facilitator and started to learn about online marketing, online things, and how to present yourself and position your business online. I did not complete the whole session with her because then something else came up, but I was able to utilize the new skills and the new knowledge once you let go of the idea of who you think you are in the eyes of other people who don't even notice you in the first place. If they see you, they see you. If they don't see you, they don't see you. And 9 out of 10 times, for me, I realized that my importance was largely in my head. I was very important in my head. The rest of people just saw somebody who they would not mind doing business with, And if the business could be done, the business could be done. So the notion of having to be perfect, I know now that I got it in my childhood. And so as soon as I figured out where it came from, that's when I started to work on getting rid of it, because it really is dangerous. Perfection, the quest of perfection, and the notion of perfection, and the falsehood that comes with perfection is dangerous to happiness and to achieving your goals. Because when I gave up that thing that they would think that I should have known all of this, no, I don't have to know everything. Uh-uh. University of Google helps me out now. And what is important for me now is to just know that this is what I need to do. And these are the resources available for me to do it. Even if it means going to someone and saying, I do not know how to do this. Assist me with this. Or do it for me, please. I don't, there's some things I have come to terms with my inability to handle mathematical things. I have come to terms with that. Basics beyond counting to 10 and 20, 100, the theory and the theorem, no. But giving up perfection and the quest for perfection was one of the best things I could have done for me going forward. So it helps me to be able to apologize even if I'm wrong in some instances. It helps me to be able to apologize without it weighing on my soul the way it would have weighed, and I look less now in the person's eyes, and all of these different things. So I just wanted to share on perfection and the dangers of keeping a mindset that says you have to be perfect
Mm-hmm.
in order to exist and in order to do things or to achieve things. It is the worst thing that you could do for yourself.
Yeah. And that is why exactly what you explain is how we could really recommit without guilt or the pressure. So you're recommitting to your goals, but you're releasing all the pressure and the expectations, because it's only you had the expectations as catching next with nobody not taking you on, you know. You think that they are paying attention to you when everybody dealing with their own things. Everybody is dealing with their own things. And a lot of times we create these stories and scenarios and nobody is paying attention.
And Adana, even the facilitator was dealing with things. So
Yes,
I'm looking at her as being perfect, and she's talking about the things she's dealing with.
yes, yes, yes. Because we are all learning every day. We are all learning, unlearning, relearning. Every day it is a process. And it is not about, well, I learned this yesterday and it would work tomorrow. Sometimes it does not happen like that, because I know for a lot of parents, especially when they have to send kids to school, you give them shrimp today, tomorrow they're not eating that shrimp. You give them a hot dog today, they're not eating the hot dog tomorrow. So again, a lot of times you're looking to your past to figure out what to do in the present moment, and it will not work. And then you go down the road of frustrating yourself. Why this is not working? It has worked before. That is what was required for that moment in time. What is required for this moment in time is something else. But if you spend your time, as Nicola said as well, focused on what is not working, you're just wasting energy when you could put that energy towards focusing on the goal that you would like to achieve. And in that moment is where it is recognized how much time we spent consumed by things, people, places, experiences, situations, work, things that not even important. And the more time and energy you spend focus where you're really not supposed to be, is the less time you're spending on where you should be focused, which is focusing on what you would like to achieve. And again, it's like you're watching your neighbor's plant flourishing and her yard is green, and you're wondering why your whole entire yard is dry. Because where is your focus place? You're probably so focused on your neighbor garden, you can tell her what to do, when to water her plants, when it need nourishment, when it need all these things. but you're not doing it for yourself. And she have her routine. She getting up early in the morning and she is doing this. She is giving them nutrients every 2 weeks. She is pruning her plants. She is raking up all the leaves. She is taking out the weeds. And what are you doing for yourself? Because you're focused over there. That is why you know everything that's happening over there. But then what is for you? What is required for you? Spend some time, spend some energy, place focus on yourself. Sit and look within you and find out what is required for you in this moment. Bring your mindset to the current present moment and find out what is required for you. I am telling you, after this, you're going to sit down like tomorrow when you're on work, wherever you are, in conversations, and you would recognize how much time is spent consumed, how much of your time you spend consumed by other people. Literally consumed. And the person didn't wear this today and she wore it yesterday, and her boyfriend used to pick her up and he's not picking her up anymore. How you know all these things? And where is your phone? No, 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 no. You could spend, or imagine how much you could achieve if all that energy and time was placed on yourself. And then you're wondering how I really want this and I really don't want that. But again, as soon as the distractions come, you're entertaining all these distractions. And the more you entertain the distractions going for the cousins, the friends, the family, and is more coming, more distractions. So your whole life consumed with everything other than you. And that is why you really need to tune your mindset. You need to tune your mindset to the current moment. Focus on you from within. Because if I ask the question now, what do you want? Do you even know what you want? Do you even know the steps? Do you know what is required? Do you know where to find it? Or is it just a thought that has been floating around in your head for the past 3 years? A lot of times when you ask people what they don't even know what they want. And they could tell you what everybody else wants and what everybody else have. So what is your mindset tuned to? What is your mindset currently tuned to? Or who is your mindset currently tuned to? Is it to you? Or is it to other people? And then, of course, you would know by the fruits of your labor. If you are not bearing any fruit, then you know where your mindset is tuned to. Your mindset not tuned to you. You really, really have to tune your mindset. You would blink and it would be 2029, not even 2026. You would blink. And as the same thing happened on the same chat last year. And at the end of the year, everybody was like, we reached the end of the year already. Yes, we reached the end of the year already. What do you want for you? And just as last week's discussion was talking about starting ugly, start wherever you are and pour love into what you already have. You don't have to wait on whatever is the thing that you need to order online. You don't have to wait to get help from whoever you're accustomed helping you. No. And again, let me tell you how serious it is about waiting. And I know for some of you, you all know this story already, where I went outside and I was cleaning up the yard. So I started on one side and went to the other side. And I really wanted my nephews to help. And in that moment, I think I called one. He came. What he did? He came. I think the part was here. He took the part and went back home. Then the other one, he blanked me altogether. The person who does usually come and help, my little, the smaller of the two. He blanked me altogether. He never came. And then I realized in that moment, Adana, you have to do this alone. And sometimes that is required. You have to do it alone. Sometimes people will not be there to help. And that is also okay. So I started, and then I went to the other side of the house. And that is where I saw all the vines consuming the mango tree. And if you left it, now we wouldn't have any mangoes right now in mango season in Trinidad to be enjoying. And again, if you are not paying attention to yourself, opportunities are passing. There are vines growing up on your trees. You're not pruning them. You don't know. So when you're waiting to harvest, you have nothing to harvest. Because your focus is on your neighbor who taking care of the plants. But what you're doing for you, what you're doing for your mindset every day to ensure that you stay on the right path, to ensure that you stay on the path that is best for you, to ensure that you stay aligned, to ensure that you keep nourishing your soil. What are you doing for you? Some of us, you have thoughts of exercising months now, and what you're doing with the thoughts. You have thoughts of incorporating fruits into your diet, and what you're doing with the thoughts. You have thoughts of drinking more water, what you're doing with it. You have thoughts of getting up earlier to do certain things, what you're doing with it. You have thoughts of jotting down the ideas for your business plan that keeps rolling around in your mind, but what you're doing with it. You're going to wait until next year? You're waiting for the perfect opportunity in 6 months, in 10 months, in 2 years, in 5 years, in 10 years. When is the perfect opportunity? And what are some of these strategies? Because I know that we are discussing, what are some of these strategies that you all think that you could adapt to really remain consistent? Because you know what the tools are. You know, especially from Catherine's explanation, how to recommit without guilt or pressure. Because everything that you're expecting and what you think people thinking of you, they're not even paying attention because they're dealing with their own stuff. But how do you think that you could really stay consistent and even start wherever you are right now in this moment? Even again, you don't have shoes to exercise, you have socks. Everybody has 1,000 pair of socks in the drawer that they're not using. And even if you borrow socks from somebody, it will go unnoticed because nobody pays attention to socks. So how do you think that you could really stay consistent and even make a 1% step towards whatever your desired goal is?
I believe having a routine. I believe that if you have where you want to go, and even if you cannot work on it 24/7, you have a time that, and the time hasn't, doesn't, for me, doesn't have to be a specific time. Because I remember saying to myself that in terms of my own spiritual growth, I want to be able to spend time meditating every day. And the ideal time for me would be at the beginning of the day. Not exactly when I get up, but at the beginning of the day. And over time, know that if I have to skip it for any reason, it's like something is missing. It's like you're breaking almost a promise to yourself. And for me, that is something that sometimes makes the day seem unsettled. I know the day isn't unsettled, but because I made that commitment to myself to do this particular thing for me. So I believe when you have a routine around something that you really want to accomplish, then that keeps you on track. Because when you miss it, it's like for the people who say that when they miss the exercise, they miss the exercise
Yeah.
because it's as though something did not occur that day. So I think it's important to have a routine and to hold yourself accountable. It doesn't matter whether anybody else knows whatever you. In the past, I would listen to the books and say, tell somebody so that they will hold you accountable. I now know that you keep your mouth shut and hold yourself accountable. So those are the things that I practice or I am working on practicing more 100%. Still a work in progress, but using the tools of commit to yourself. Let whatever it is you are doing be for you,
Mm-hmm.
not because it will look good or you want to impress somebody else. Because the days when times get a little rough and a little rocky, you will put automatically, you'll put yourself first again, and then you wouldn't do what you were supposed to be doing. So that is my way of managing myself and sort of building on so that every day it becomes a little stronger, a little stronger. I would love to hear what other people are doing.
Mm-hmm. Well, I could tell you what I am doing as well as it relates to slowing down because I don't know if we all experience this, but what I recognize is that I would usually be like this. So it always have tensions and issues. I always have to find myself doing this. Always dropping my shoulders down. And I recognize that since recognizing that because I always have, again, like I'm doing it, I just have to drop my shoulders. I have sinus issues, and I realize that when I am stressed, it is worse, or when I am tired, it gets worse. So it is a lot of times unknowingly to me constantly holding tenseness in your body. And of course, from years of practice, you don't even recognize that that is what is happening. So even when I am driving, going anywhere, or when I am going from one activity to the next activity, I try to do it slower. Whatever you are doing, try to do it slower. And take self, remember your breath within the moment. Take a few deep breaths. And you would recognize with the deep breaths, you tend to get clarity. So even you thought that you were, your routine says you would usually go from A to B to C. Then when you take a few breaths, you realize, wait, it makes more sense to go from A to X, then back to J, then to K. But if you're just doing it mundane and you're really not even thinking or being mindful about it, you would recognize you would just fall into the same patterns, and you really, really, really have to be mindful. Because how much do you really want this thing? Because when we first started to exercise, I used to say, Annalisa, I honestly think that when you get up in the morning, you ask the question, how am I going to torment these people today? And now you're recognizing, okay, I've seen some effects. You're seeing some of the results. I'm not tired as much as anymore. I could come home, I could get a lot of other things done. I have energy. I even went because sometimes I stay by my aunt and she's saying, but why you have so much energy? I was like, exercise, girl. So you recognize that you're seeing the results of it, but you really have to stay consistent. You really, really, really have to stay consistent. And how much longer are you going to stay at this one thing for and not make the first step? How much longer you're going to just keep staring at this thing and you keep telling yourself, I know I have to. 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 But when are you going to? A lot of times you just have it. You just have it. You just have it. You just have it. But you really have to make the first step. And let me just share something with you all. And that is why we have created, for those of you who really don't know what the first step is we have created the 7-day Genius Jumpstart for this. So if you are ready to finally take charge of your life in the three aspects mindset, nutrition, and fitness, you just have to WhatsApp the word jumpstart to 868-336-1809 for your copy to really help you along the way, because a lot of times you don't know where to start. And that is okay. That is why Befitment is here. So if you would like to join the movement and you're really ready to take charge of your life, because a lot of us, we feel stuck and we don't know how to move forward, you could WhatsApp us, Jumpstart, and we would send you this, and this would be a guide to help you really make the first step towards achieving your goals. So really think about it, because it is really, really, really important. So if you would like, just WhatsApp us. And of course, it is free. And a lot of times you see the last category, fitness, I am telling you all, it is necessary. Because a lot of times you're just going day by day and you're feeling lethargic and you're feeling overwhelmed. And of course, the fitness aspect is the most difficult to really start. And because of it, we tend to just try to forget it altogether. But of course, with Befitment Premium membership, it is part of the package. Imagine you're getting all of this for $96. So if it is something that you are interested in, this is some of the premium benefits. So of course you have group fitness activities, which I would show you the flyer for that. It is every Tuesday and Thursday. It is also online if you are interested. And of course, with premium membership, you would get daily access to valuable knowledge, greater financial control, and tools to achieve balance and success in all areas. Because remember, guys, we have three aspects of our being. It is not only a mind, it is not only a body, and it is not only the spiritual unseen aspect. A lot of times we tend to focus on one of these when all of these are important and they need to work together. So with premium membership, you have group fitness activities, you have your wellness progress tracker. For the premium members who are part of the Genius Goals, of course, they would understand what this is, because it helps them along the way and guides them along the way with their progress. You also have professional goals development. You have well-being mentorship masterclass, qualified psychological consultation. So, a lot of times you might be experiencing things and you're feeling stuck again and you need a little bit more than what the app has and social media. That is where the consultations would come in. You also have access to the Be Better series classes, which is from Tuesday to Thursday. And within these classes is, of course, a deeper dive of what is discussed tonight. So if this is something that you are struggling with, because last week when we spoke about starting ugly, the deeper dive was, of course, we striving for perfection. And really, you're really supposed to start where you are with what you have, because you have everything that you need and you are not defective. And of course, we always have events, so you will get 25% discount on selected events. Of course, email and telephone support and the 30-day guarantee. And this is just a few of the partners that we have worked with and are currently also working with. So if premium membership is something that you are, and of course, the persons who are premium members, they understand the importance of this. Because sometimes before we could even start up at 6, you see they logged in already waiting. Because it really, really helps you along the way. And if you think that Mondays are really good, it is nothing compared to during the week. And $96 to invest in yourself, and you're getting mind information as well as fitness information and nutrition, and also incorporating the spiritual aspect where you would see how the three aspects are connected. It is a very, very, very different experience. So if it is something that you are interested in, feel free to reach out to us. And let me just show you also the Be Active schedule. This is where we work out, and it's full body workouts. Tuesdays and Thursdays after class from 7 to 8 p.m. at the Befitment Balance Center. And if you would like to register, you could WhatsApp BFIT to 336-1809. Of course, it is included with your membership. So you would get all the exclusive benefits. Also, for this week, we are in Barbados at the Caribbean Regional Conference of Psychology. So I know yesterday we did the no. Yesterday we did a podcast, yes. So we have the radio interview coming up. We have our presentation, which will be on the 11th. And then on the 12th, we have the Caribbean Regional Conference Cultural Night. And our representative for this initiative is Miss Nicola George. So Nicola is currently in Barbados, um, attending this conference on behalf of the Fitment. So guys, just send her some love. And on Saturday, for those who are in Trinidad, we have a fun run and walk, which is free, a pop-up. And we are going to the satellite tracking station. So you could lace up for fun and fitness at our fun run and walk event. You could walk, run, repeat. You choose when to switch it up. And if you are interested, you WhatsApp fun, of course, to 336-1809 to register. And we are meeting at Macri Beach Car Park for 6 a.m. And then we are going up to the satellite tracking station and back down to the beach to bathe after. And of course, it is free, free, free. So for those in Trinidad, I would like to apologize for those who are out of Trinidad. But don't worry, we will be in your country sometime soon. So if you are interested, you could come and let us continue the outdoor exercise activities, because it is really, really fun and it is really, really invigorating as well. And let me let you all know what we have at the Balance Center, of course, for this week. And remember that um, the classes Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday is a continuation of what was discussed tonight, which is, of course, the mindset tune-up, how to recommit. And then from tomorrow, we have counseling and consultations. And from 6, we have finding consistency in balance, which is one of the strategies that we were just discussing. So recognizing when you need to reset yourself. And then, of course, after from 7, we have the Fuel and Flex full body workout session with Miss Annalisa Maraj, and it's really good. Wednesday, we have counseling and consultations. And then from 6 p.m., we have the growth at the edge of trouble. Because we all know when we reach the trouble experience, what tends to happen. So trouble often brings vast rewards if you can find it. And that is why the overcoming is important and not just giving up and throwing it away. So if it is something that you are interested in, let us know. And then on Thursday, we have counseling and consultations. And then from 6, we have commitment and energy management. Because with commitment, a lot of times things start to get strenuous and you start to feel tired and overwhelmed. So how do you maintain the energy that is required? And we will be discussing the hidden key to sticking with it. Because a lot of times we tend to give up, of course. And on Friday, we have counseling and consultations. And from 3, we have the free to be. And also, we also have a Jumpstart Live that you will be seeing now every Friday. It would be a question and answer. So please look out for that. It would be live on our social media platforms on a Friday as well. And on Saturday from 6 a.m., we have the Be Fit Fun Run and Walk. So for those who are interested, message us and let us know. And we will be going to the tracking station, and Annalisa is not letting us know how difficult this is. Marissa, are you there?
Yes, I am.
I know that you went already. Now, on the level of difficulty, what are we talking about?
Depending on your fitness level, I might say if you're fit, it could be an 8 out of 10
If you're fit,
if you're fit, yeah.
uh-huh. So if
Because
you're
I
not fit,
well,
is that 25 out of 10? Marissa, how is this work in comparison to Cyril B? All right, I think Marissa just got bumped up. All right, that's okay. We're gonna make it, guys. For those who are coming, we are going to make it. And are you all ready for the Genius Goals question? And even if you're not ready, it will still be posted on social media, of course. And the question is, are you all ready to take it down?
Yes.
All right. Recommitting to my goals. Recommitting to my goals will allow me the opportunity to finally achieve what I am desirous of. Recommitting to my goals.
action got lost there a little bit.
Yes.
Right. So I'm not sure whether I you all heard me when I was saying that it is recommended to move very light in terms of, you just walk with a bottle of water
Mm-hmm.
and cell phone,
Okay.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
All right. No problem. Thank you so very much.
no props. And it's about half an hour long for the
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. 2 hours. Hour and a half to 2 hours for the rest of us. All right. Okay. All right.
it's fun.
All right. Well, yes, of course, because we would certainly be doing it on Saturday.
Just think you go to the beach afterwards, so right, you'll be able to come back down with ease. Just 1 hour.
Yes. Okay. No props.
All right.
Yes. Thank you. All right, guys. So back to the Genius Goal question. Recommitting to my goals will allow me the opportunity to finally achieve what I am desirous of. Now, knowing this, moving forward, in order to achieve my goals, I will put the following steps in place. And then you would list them or fill in the blanks. And of course, if you do not know what the next step is, message us and we would send you the 7-day jumpstart if you need any additional assistance. All right. So guys, thank you for logging on. For those who would be we would be seeing on Saturday, we will see you all and we hope to have fun and make it out because I know that of course again challenges and you have to overcome the challenges. That is all that it is, and we will certainly have a fun time. So guys, good night. See you back here, same place, same time next week. For those who are not part of the Genius Goals Challenge, remember you are getting tickets to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It is all you have to do is log in and answer a question. Nothing else is required. Log in every week.
Dana,
Yes.
before we go, I just want to toot Befitment's horn. When we said we were attending the conference
Mm-hmm.
in Barbados,
And presenting.
Befitment was invited to
Yes.
present at that conference. So you know what you are getting from Befitment. Others are wanting to get it from Befitment. So get your premium membership because Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is now only available to premium members.
Yes. 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 Yes, guys. So make the investment in yourself. Trust me, you would definitely see the benefits of it. And thank you all for logging on. See you next week, same place, same time, and have a wonderful week. Remember to apply mindfulness and also to pour love into what you already have. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.